There's nobody in the stands. That had to be, I know there's been a lot of low points for the Falcons, but that had to be a pretty low.
Steve, are you going?
Nothing's worse than that.
Now, we're already late and Bernadette's made me late and I have never been late. Is this on?
Yes.
Bowl game sits like right after. I got
The-
to have a call. I
The
lost.
city clerk, once again, for her last screw up. I have never started a meeting late in 10 years of these meetings, and once again, you've made us late. Let's call the Tuesday, December 19th, 2023 meeting of the Dalton City Council to order. Mr. Lama will lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda is before you. Any additions, corrections, deletions? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Goodlet,
I second.
second by Mr. Fair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None. Special recognitions, Mayor David Pennington. Am I recognizing somebody or?
No, we're recognizing you. You gotta go to stand down there.
Mr. Mayor, I think we had 2 public comments before the special recognition.
Okay, Jason Mock. Yep.
Mayor, Council, thank you all so much for allowing me to speak today. Just want to come here and thank you for your service. I know you have been a staple in this community from a political side, but also from the chamber side as a former board chair of the board. Your service to our community is undoubted one that will go into history in the city of Dalton and our community. So I just want to thank you for your service, your leadership, and wish you nothing but the best in the near future.
Thank you. I can tell you're still somewhat new here with the good things that you said about. I think we got the chairman of the county commission here. I know that they're glad to see me go. So.
On the contrary, I wanted to thank you for our partnership, especially just the last 3 years with myself. Of course, it's the whole city council and the board of commissioners, but for your one night, we'll give you a little bit of the credit. We signed a lost agreement. We're almost finished with the SPLOST. We did a service delivery agreement. We did a comprehensive strategic plan. We worked together in the library. We transitioned the senior center. I mean, it's a long, do you have my 30 PowerPoint slides ready, Bernadette? I like to go through a few PowerPoints. But I did want to present you with one gift as you're going away. There's one thing that I can never top you. We are planning to pass the city in most areas in the county very soon. But one area we can't pass you in is the timeliness of your meetings. So I want to present you with this small gift to remember us by. He holds the record.
World's fastest city council meetings.
So we're trying to extend this one out just a little bit, but we appreciate the partnership for the whole city council, but especially Mayor Pennington. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a few comments from the staff as well before we present you with something, but just looking back over the last 4 years, I won't talk about the prior term, but just this most recent term. You were sworn in on January the 6th, and you served as mayor, as you said earlier, from 2008 to 2014, bringing your total length of service as mayor to the city as to 10 years. And so it takes, if you're just, a citizen, I don't think that folks understand the time commitment that goes into being mayor or an elected official. And obviously there's not much pay associated with this endeavor. And so the countless meetings over 10 years, I would have to think has to be in the thousands that you brought your leadership and vision to the city. And I look back when you announced your candidacy for office this last term about some of your goals and kind of reflected on what we have been able to accomplish as a team, the council, the mayor, and the staff. Some of those are in addition to those that the chairman cited, which were pretty major accomplishments that take place every 10 years with lost and service delivery. But you were successfully able every year to reduce property taxes in coordination with the council to make Dalton the most attractive city in North Georgia for individuals and business. And the other thing that we reflect on quite often, Margaret's here tonight, the growth in our hotel motel tax and our sales tax collections. You have really championed growing our tax digest to mitigate the property tax burden on Dalton citizens. And we've all been able to enjoy those successes over the last 4 years in particular. The other thing I think that we forget, although it affected our community as it did the country and the world, was the COVID pandemic. And I think in lockstep with the council and our mayor-elect, Annalise Sams, really provided leadership to the community to keep our economic engine going and to do things that really no other community did across the state with the fire department, public safety, to provide treatment services to the community and really provided leadership during a very critical time for our world. Another thing I know that you're proud about is the development of our 21st century stormwater program. For so many decades now, Dalton has been faced with so many challenges related to stormwater. In the short time, of this term as mayor, we now have a plan. We have a capital projects list that we're implementing. Some projects have been completed already. Others are in the queue. And so that was a major endeavor that was certainly decades in the making that happened as a result of your leadership. Another proud accomplishment that will benefit the community for many years to come is reestablishing Dalton Parks and Rec as a premier recreation agency in the state of Georgia. We had kind of lost our way in the Parks Department over a period of time. With your leadership and that of the council, we've made over $3 million of reinvestment in our park system facilities. Our registration numbers are growing exponentially each year. And with this being a major priority of yours, it's amazing to see the ground we've covered in 2 years. Final thing I'll say, and something that we continue to work on, is our code enforcement efforts throughout the city. I think your quote was, we need to look like the home of a $10 billion industry. And I hear stories every day about the changes that are being made, although maybe not at the pace you want them to be made, but they are being made. And Dalton certainly is transforming its look and has done that over the last 2 to 3 years as a result of your leadership on that issue. So from the staff perspective, I think I speak for all the department heads and the city staff that we appreciate your leadership over these last 4 years. We're going to miss you. And we look forward to service of Mayor-elect Annalise Sams. But don't block our numbers. We'll probably call you to get some wise counsel from time to time. And I also want to thank your family, Pam and Dave and all the grandkids, Mary Jane, for loaning you to the city for a decade cumulatively. I know that that's a lot of nights and meetings away from the family. So thank you to the family as well. And with that, I'll stop talking. I think we've got an award, Bernadette.
Oh,
Because you've been here the longest. Don't drop it.
I don't you drop it. Here you go.
Thank you.
Oh. Don't miss it.
Y'all asking me questions or whatever, asking me for things. And,
Hold this up before you go. You can break it.
when I came back this time after about the first year, and I guess Bernadette, who else was here the last time? You came really after the fact, whatever. Todd, you would have been here. Greg was here, Cindy was here. And Bernadette said, you changed. I said, well, first of all, I'm old. But the second thing is, people forget in 2008, when I took office the first time, the serious situation this community was in. I wasn't sure if we're gonna make payroll or whatever else with that, whatever. And then, we were having to do a lot of, difficult things. This time Bernadette said, "You become liberal, you're spending money." You know. And I said, "Well, first of all, we got money this time." You know. And when you look at the people that, that I've worked around, it's been amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm getting emotional, which is unusual.
Yes.
Let's go to the minutes. Minutes before you, any additions, corrections, deletions?
Motion to approve minutes.
Motion by Mr. Goodletts, is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Farah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
New business resolution 23-26 runoff election certification.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you might recall, council, we took this up at one of the November meetings to certify the partial election results. As you know, we had a runoff for one of the Board of Education seats. The resolution is before you to adopt the results of John Tully Johnson receiving 481 votes and Laura Orr receiving 430 votes, and declaring John Tully Johnson as the duly elected board member of the Board of Education.
Any questions? There a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
I
Mr. Goodletts,
second it.
second by Mr. Farah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Number 4, temporary construction easement and quitclaim deed for 701 Greenwood Drive. Chad?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This request is to execute the temporary construction easement and quitclaim deed located on the property of 701 Greenwood Drive. The temporary construction easement is to complete elements of the Ridge Street Stormwater Bypass Project that encroaches into the property. The quitclaim deed is for half of the unopened right-of-way on Ridge Street. While doing the research on the deed, records show that the unopened portion of this right-of-way was closed via mayor and council meeting in 1986, and the unopened portion was never properly quitclaimed. The temporary construction easement is valid through the completion of the project, which is anticipated to be spring of 2024. This has been reviewed and approved by the city attorney.
Any questions? Your motion? Motion by Mr. Lama, second by Mr. Farah. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. Number 5, general construction agreement with Data and Sound Specialties for camera and access control project.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I beg your indulgence tonight as I present this project, and I'm gonna need a slide. Thank you. Our IT director, if you don't know, is out with the flu, so I'm gonna be tag teaming this with Bill Lloyd, who will provide any technical information if the council has any questions. But what this is for, several weeks ago, we advertised an RFP for the upgrades to our security upgrades as cameras and access control. We received several proposals back as a result of the RFP. These proposals were scored, and what you have before you tonight is the company that scored the highest, and they came in at $66,500. They were not the lowest bid, but they were the second to lowest bid. And the reason being for that, they did score higher because primarily because of warranty and their certification levels that gives them the ability to provide that warranty. When this is completed, we will have our cameras will be upgraded at City Hall as well as PD, and also access control at all locations, staff locations, and entry doors as well. So Bill would be happy to answer any questions any of you may have.
And this is a budgeted expenditure in the capital
Yes.
budget. Council's already appropriated funding for this.
Any questions? Your motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Goodletts,
Second.
second by Mr. Lama. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Number 6, professional service agreement with Prime Engineering for pickleball site analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. We talked about this at the last Finance Committee meeting, but as you know, we've assembled a stakeholder group representing the pickleball community in Dalton to develop the scope for the pickleball complex project. We met a couple weeks ago, and we've been able to fine tune the scope to a 15-court complex. The question that still needs to be answered is where we place this complex. We have 2 sites that the city owns. one at Al Rollins Park, one at James Brown Park, to consider. The stakeholder committee found value in both sites. And so their recommendation to the city was to base the decision on where to locate the project as it's determined where the site that would be most cost effective to develop with site grading and utilities and things of that nature. The Al Rollins site does have some floodplain concerns. So that's another thing that the engineer will be reviewing. So the contract before you is a professional service agreement with Prime Engineering, and they'll evaluate both sites, provide estimates of probable costs for site development at each site, and then they'll come back with a recommendation as to which site would be most efficient to develop. The cost to perform this work is $19,500. The work will be completed by April 1st, and we do have money already set aside to do this agreement.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ferris, second by Mr. Goodlet. All in favor, say aye. All opposed,
Aye.
like sign. Anybody that says government moves slow, I remember my first year back this time, they came with proposal to convert Brookwood tennis courts to pickleball courts. And I said, what in the world is pickleball? I didn't even know what it was. And now suddenly we're going to have one of the best complexes in Georgia. Good job. Number 7, fiscal year 23 budget amendment number 6.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is our 2023 budget amendment number 6. For the general fund, we're going to increase revenues $409,000. This is to adjust the insurance premium tax to the actual amount received. Also to bump up our interest expense to reflect the current rates that we're receiving on our investments. Those funds are going to be utilized for a $75,000 budget increase to municipal court to cover the wages and benefits for the court administrator position and contracted services shortfall. We have a $60,000 increase to cover the new HVAC system at the chamber and city hall shortfall in utilities and building repairs. We have a $16,000 increase to the fire department budget to cover the shortfall in commercial insurance. We have a $26,000 increase to the recreation department to cover the fee for the kayak equipment rental at Hag Mill. And it's covered by a prior year donation. It's just sitting in our fund balance. We just have to move it over to our budgeted expenditures. We're also moving $133,000 that we received from an insurance reimbursement for the floor at Matt Gaston. We're moving it into CIP so that we can complete those repairs. They won't be done until next year, but we're going to go ahead and move them over. We're utilizing $83,125 of our contingency funds. We're going to increase our budgeted fund balance with this budget amendment, $182,125. The offsetting budget to the CIP fund is a transfer from the general fund for $133,000. Then recreation repairs and maintenance, $133,000. We also have a budget increase to our CDBG fund for $367,600, which is our funding 7/1/23 to 6/30/24. And it's just an offsetting federal grant revenue and expenditures to that fund for a zero impact on fund balance there.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Farah, second by Mr. Lama. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Under supplemental business, I like to keep things short. Y'all have heard me talk about over the last few years that very few cities can become an exceptional city. This one can. We're well on our way doing that. And I'm sure with younger people, with Annalee's leadership, council, the best staff in Georgia, we're going to become that. Thank you. Do I hear a motion with adjourn?
Mayor, may I just
Yep.
a point of personal privilege, if I could. So I've probably known you longer than anybody in this room, except for your sister. Maybe Terry may date back to those days. But I never, of course, had the privilege of serving with you. I did, as you know, serve down in the legislature and on several state boards. And so I had the opportunity really to, I think, observe a lot of exceptional leaders. But I would put you up against any one of them. You know, your vision for this city is just unparalleled. Your attention to financial acumen and grasp of financial matters is just, I'm always in awe of that. A great leader has to have the courage to make difficult decisions, and sometimes that is not easy to do. And sometimes it unfortunately doesn't make everybody happy. But you have a backbone to make those difficult decisions, and I've seen you over the last 2 years on several occasions have to make them, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate that whenever I had to go to you to talk about anything, and I'm sure all the other council can probably echo that, you always had time to talk with me and go through the issue. And I knew when I left that I knew more than when I came. And it was just really a privilege and honor, not only to have a dear friend like you, but also to be able to serve with you in this public capacity. And I thank you for that. Thank you for all you've done for the city.
Thank you. Announcements: city government offices will be closed Monday, December 25th, 2023, and Tuesday, December 26th, 2023 for the Christmas holidays, and Monday, January 1st, 2024 for New Year's Day. The next mayor and council meeting will be held Monday, January the 8th, 2024. Bernadette, when we go into lunch again?
Soon.
Do I hear a motion we adjourn?